I go, they're applauding. The coordinator comes running around the corner. He goes, "Go back. Johnny wants you to go back. Go back." I said, "Go back and talk to Johnny." "Don't go back and talk to Johnny. Just go back." So I go back to the curtain, and Johnny gives you that sir.
So, okay, keep the story going. You finally get in front. You kind of get a rhythm going at the Comedy Store. How and what was that like when you finally got on the Tonight Show? Which it must have been just absolute surreal. You know what I mean? I would imagine you thought about that night in the bar. You push the beers away. You're like, I'm going to get on the Tonight Show, and then here you are. You actually get the opportunity. What was that like?
Well, I hounded the hell out of them. Craig Tennis and Paul Black. I played softball against them. We had the Comedy Store had a softball team. We played against the Tonight Show, and I was doing all sorts of tricks to get their attention. Because again, I was a former salesman. But I finally got Craig Tennis to come and see me one night, and that night he was looking at a comedy team called Bauman Eston and a new kid named Billy Crystal.
Okay.
I don't know whatever happened to Billy Crystal, but I'm on your show right now, Steve, so he can eat his heart out.
Yeah,
but
100%.
They finally come to see me, and it's a Tuesday night. Now, the biggest fear comedians have is if you're going to do an audition that you'll have a small crowd. And a Tuesday night wasn't a big night at the Comedy Store, so I'm thinking, God, I hope they have more than 20 people so I can, show this guy what I can do.
Sure.
I pull up in front of the Comedy Store, and there's like 120 people out in front of the Comedy Store. I go, wow. On a Tuesday night, what I don't know is Billy Crystal is being managed by Rollins and Jaffe, one of the biggest management teams in show business. They manage Woody Allen. They end up managing David Letterman, and so many other big stars. And they're managing Billy Crystal. He's a new guy, but they brought all these people to the Comedy Store, all the TV shows, all the casting people. I go, oh my God, I'm going to go on in front of this great crowd. But what I didn't know, their management said, no one goes in until Billy goes on. They kept all those people outside the Comedy Store.
Really?
And I don't blame them. Yeah, well, they didn't bring those people there to get Tom Dreesen a career.
Huh.
You know what I mean? Or Bauman Eston. They brought those people for their clients. So they kept their people outside till Billy what's going on. I go on in front of like 20 people, Craig Tennis came inside, and I scored. I did a good set, about 20 minutes. When I came off, he said to me, come to my office tomorrow at the Tonight Show. I went the next day. He said, he's at his desk. He said, I saw your 20 minutes. Show me what 5 you would do if I gave you the Tonight Show. So I got up and I'd do this bit, do that bit. He said, take that one out, put another joke in it. I did it. And finally he said, okay, you got it.
Really?
You're on next Tuesday.
On that day?
You're on next Tuesday.
Wow.
He said, 1 week from today, you're on. I go back and I tell the whole world, I'm going on the Tonight Show. I'm going to Tonight Show. Blah, blah, blah. I'm calling home and I'm telling everybody back home, back in all the bars back in home and all my brothers and sisters. I'm going on the Tonight Show next Tuesday. Everybody in Chicago's watching. Not everybody, but
it feels like it, I'm sure.
I get to the Tonight Show, boy, I tell you, I've got the bit down. I'm rehearsing. I go, you put you in makeup. I'm in makeup. Then they take you up to your dressing room. And then moments later, they bring you down to your green room and you wait. And I was in the green room. They came in the green room and said, we ran out of time. You got to come back next week.
Right.
I come back a week from there. I go into makeup. Meanwhile, I haven't eaten for a week. I'm still, I get the makeup. I go to my dressing room. They bring me down to the green room. We ran out of time. They did this to me 3 times in a row. On the 4th time, I'm in the green room. I'm in the makeup room getting made up. And Fred DeCordova, the producer, came in. He said, I got bad news for you. I said, what? He said, you're going on tonight. Now.
Really?
Yeah. Now,
just devastating.
After that, 26 million people are going to watch you tonight. When they come to get you out of that green room, they take that long walk to take you behind that curtain. Not only do 26 million people watch that show, but talent coordinators from Las Vegas, bookers from Vegas, agents, all across the land watched that show.
Right.
It was, television was only this big in those days.
Right.
It wasn't cable and all that. Now, they come and get me out of the green room, take that long walk, all the stagehands. Later, when I became a veteran, they go, hey, Dreesen, how you doing? How's your Cubs? Hey, how you doing, Tommy? That first time, they all turn their back and they whisper, it's his first time. It's his first time. You get behind that curtain. Doc Severinson's playing music because they're in commercial break. Coordinator to Craig Tennis said, Tommy, are you okay? Yeah, he said, okay, buddy. He said, knock him dead. He leaves you alone, and now I'm back there, and I can't remember the first joke. What was it? Oh, yeah, now you're going, now you're talking to God one-on-one. Oh, God. Oh, get me through this. Get me through this. I need to score here tonight. Now, meanwhile, you realize my mother it's got everybody in Harvey, Illinois watching the show. If I bomb, I can't even go back home, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now the lights come on, the screen, the music stops because we're out of commercial break.
Mm-hmm.
And we're live now. And you see the screens light up, and they have a guy back there. He's going to open the curtain for you to go out.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny says, we're back now. And I'm glad you're in such a good mood tonight because my next guest is making his first appearance on The Tonight Show. Would you welcome, please, Tom Dreesen? Now, that one line, Steve, I'm glad you're in such a good mood tonight. He only does it on your first night. Welcome, Tom Dreesen. I go through the curtain.
Interesting.
Bright lights, I can't see the audience. Bright lights, they got a spot on the floor you hit. They're applauding. I get that first joke out, gets a laugh. I get the second joke, gets a laugh. Get the third joke, now I get applause. I did a fourth joke, I hear Johnny and Ed McMahon laughing behind me. Now I get applause. I got 8 applause. I'm at the end of my monologue, and I killed them. I really had a set. I said, you've been a wonderful audience. This is my first appearance on The Tonight Show. Show business is a tough life. So if you like me, just if you like me and you're Protestant, say a prayer. If you're Catholic, light a candle. If you're Jewish, somebody in your family owns a nightclub. Tell them about me, will you please? I go through the curtain. They're applauding. The coordinator comes running around the corner. He goes, go back. Johnny wants you to go back. Go back. I said, go back and talk to Johnny. Don't go back and talk to Johnny. Just go back. So I go back through the curtain, and Johnny gives you that circle.
Yeah.
You know, and I never stopped working from that night. I did 61 appearances on The Tonight Show after that. After that, I was doing Dinah Shore, Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas, Johnny Carson, Midnight Special, Rock Concert, Soul Train. I'm the only white comedian ever to do Soul Train. I did American Bandstand. I was doing $20,000 Pyramid, Hollywood Squares, Match Game. I was touring with Sammy Davis Jr. I never stopped working since that night.
So you go out, you can't even see the audience. I mean, the white lights, they have the spot. And while you're just, I mean, that monumental pressure, right? From sleeping in some random car, hitchhiking down Sunset, it was hard enough just to get into the Comedy Store. And then now you're here. You beat all the odds. You're actually doing it. And then you kill it. You do really well. That walk that night after, that walk home, that whatever, what was that? That must have just been, I mean, cloud nine.
Not only cloud nine, tears of joy. Thank you, God. This is what I prayed for.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted. This one, but there's a song, One Moment in Time. Whitney Houston sang it, but there's a girl named Dana Winter. If you ever get a chance, download it. Dana Winter. She sings the hell out of that song, but it said, when all of my dreams you're praying that one moment in time, give me that one moment in time. When all of my dreams are a heartbeat away and the answers are all up to me. This is it. I'm behind that curtain. That one, if I seize that moment, this is it. My life will change. Baseball players have told me about it, basketball players, athletes, that their career was going nowhere and everything, but there was a moment that if they score tonight, if they hit that ball out tonight, if they that touchdown or whatever, they seized the moment. And that's what I realized that I had that one moment in time and I seized that moment. The stars were lined up right or whatever it was, but I was ready. And what good is a break if you're not ready when the break comes? Right. I paid dues. I paid a lot of dues, but again, it could have been a bad crowd that night. I did 61 appearances on The Tonight Show. There were nights that wasn't the hottest crowd where you had to dig in and work. Right. That night they were right here and they were with me all along, and I thank God for that.
So okay, now you never stopped working after that night. What was the first step towards that? What was that first gig? What was the first call you got? And you just thought, all right, here we go. What started the ball rolling?
Well, Sammy Davis, I did Sammy Davis Jr. show called Sammy and Company, and I did a whole routine about growing up in a black neighborhood, playing basketball on an all-black basketball team. I had Sammy on the floor laughing. He said to me on the show, he said, I'm taking you on the road with me. So that was a big break. Never working Las Vegas, and all of a sudden I'm in Las Vegas on the marquee with Sammy Davis Jr.
Right.
My name is on the marquee, Tom Dreesen. He made sure they put my name up there big. He was such a good guy. That was a break. But also, all of a sudden, all kinds of singers wanted me because in those days they needed a comedian to open for them that could work clean because they brought in family audiences. So Gladys Knight and the Pips, Natalie Cole, Mac Davis, Tony Orlando and Dawn, Frankie Avalon, James Darren. These are people that are calling me for gigs. I was working all the time, running all over. When I wasn't working with Sammy, I was working with them. Smokey Robinson. I toured with Smokey Robinson for years. They're all calling me. I was working so much. I remember, I tell a story. I was one day on a plane going east, and I looked out the window and I saw myself on a plane going west.
Right.
As I said, I think I'm working too much. I'm being facetious, of course. But when you were poor as I was all those years and struggling for jobs all those years, and all of a sudden the phone doesn't stop ringing, you take every single job that comes your way to a fault. Pretty soon you've got yourself, you're working yourself to death. I had to take some time off every now and then. But it was unbelievable. People recognizing you in airports. It's funny. I did a joke on Soul Train, and I did it on the Tonight Show about the black guys in my neighborhood. Gucci, Everett Nicholson, my buddy. I made him famous. I did a lot of jokes about him, my black friend from back home. But I said how tough Gucci was. I said, but Gucci was smart. I said, some of the black guys in my neighborhood weren't that smart because they thought I was a Chinese guy named Seifu. I said, every day I walked by, they'd holler, "Say, fool!" Well, that got such a huge laugh on Soul Train and all those shows that when I would go through airports, black people would see me and they didn't remember my name, but they'd holler, "Say, fool!" Sammy Davis Jr. would take my name off the dressing room door and he'd put Seifu up there, as my name. It was a whole new world. I mean, being recognized, wanting you to work with them, corporate dates, because you could work clean. Corporations didn't want a comedian that worked blue. And for your audience who doesn't understand what blue is in comedy, it's working using swear words or sexual innuendos. They call that working blue. So a whole world opened up to me. Really.
If you enjoyed this content, be sure to check out the Standing Still podcast, both here on YouTube and wherever else you listen to podcasts.